Hi. So welcome or welcome back. Today I have a bunch of very interesting questions on this or that, and I have a very special guest on my channel, Kirtana. She's my batchmate from IMA. So Kirtana, why don't you introduce
Mm.
yourself?
First of all, thank you so much for having me here. And I am a full time strategy consultant. I currently work in a niche consulting firm in Dubai. But apart from that, I create content, I make videos on YouTube and Instagram. And of course, I travel whenever I find the time to. You know how hectic consulting gets, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, it's like my little bit of solace from the craziness.
Okay, awesome, great. Thank you for being over here. So the first question, okay, is would you be at the bottom of would you be at the bottom of the ranks at IMA or be a topper at a tier two B school?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So, bottom of the ranks at IMA versus a topper at a tier 2 B school. Okay, fine. At IMA, you're branded for life. Your IMA tag means a lot. But I think I would be at the bottom at IMA because you're branded for life and no one will ask you about your grades again, right? Let's say you graduate from a tier 2 B school, and even if you're the topper, if you're like, the institute topper, no one cares. After 2 years, no one will care.
Yeah.
They'll still be like, you went to a tier 2 B school. But then from IMA, that's not the case. Let's say you didn't do anything in 2 years. You literally just got past doing the bare minimum. It's fine. You're still an IMA grad. So, yes, I would be at the bottom instead of at the top from a tier 2 B school. What about you?
Same. I'd do the same thing in a heartbeat. Just because I think life at IMA is so much fun, I would give up anything to be there again.
Yes.
And it's okay if you're at the bottom of the rank. Who cares? Like you said, no one's going to ask you 5 years later, ki, were you the topper? What were your grades?
Exactly.
It really doesn't matter.
And to add to that, I think IMA, it's such an old institution. There are so many crazy, crazy traditions that we still do
Yeah.
after, I think, 50, 60 years of the institution
Yeah.
being open. Like the Harvard dinner. Tell me, do you know why we even have the Harvard dinner?
I don't even know why it's called the Harvard dinner, honestly, but it's just such an integral part of your life at IME. Do you know why it's called Harvard dinner?
Yes.
Oh,
In
tell me,
fact,
tell
I
me.
do.
Huh.
So our, IMA is very, very, the pedagogy, everything, it's modeled after Harvard. So that's why we have Harvard and of course Harvard steps.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
For people who don't know, it's literally just a flight of stairs and we call them Harvard steps. Don't ask me why. So we, when the institute was set up, it was set up in such a way that it's like a parallel or like, as good as Harvard or, Harvard for India basically.
Yeah.
And Harvard dinner back in the day was started as a tradition. So back then, like 50, 60 years ago, IMA was not located in the core part of the city in Ahmedabad. And people barely got fast food or Western food. So Harvard dinner was that day where the seniors would serve the junior batch food, and during this time there would be a lot of Western food like pizzas, burgers,
Right.
and then but right now I think we've like digressed a lot from it,
Yeah.
and just like this really one fun night we all dress up
Yeah.
in formals and then go eat in the mess. We literally dress up in formals to go eat in the mess.
Yeah. But the food's good. That one day the food's excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty average. I
Oh.
mean, mess was like I only went in the first 1 week to the mess and I stopped.
Yeah, same here. I think that's everyone. I think there are very few people who actually saw their mess subscription through.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. Would you bag a 20 lakh per annum job with great work life balance or a job that pays twice but has no work life balance?
Okay. So, my personal view on this is, we're young. We do not have families to get back to at the end of the day. So, why not work? I mean, okay, I can go get off work at like 5 p.m., but what am I going to do after that, right? So, personally, for me, at the stage of life that I am in right now, I would go for, like, a job that pays twice as much, or, and then do a shift later on. Because right now I'm young, I can work. Like it would be different if I had a partner to come home to, or if I had my family. But what am I going to do at home, man? Like it doesn't make sense. Just log it off for 2-3 years and then figure out what you want from life.
Yeah.
But I do know a lot of people who are very, very keen on having that work-life balance.
Yeah.
Who make sure that they get off at 5 or 6 p.m. and then who have a life after 6 p.m.
Yeah.
For me, it's days blur. I'm only very, very honest here. Like there was 1 week where I was constantly working and I had no idea what day of the week it was. It was literally like, shit, 36 hours until like Friday. And I was praying that, I was not made to work on Saturday, Sunday as well.
Of course. Yeah.
So yes.
I think I'd prefer the former, to be honest, because
Mhm.
I think work life balance is very important to me. And I have so many things to do in general. Like, I have my Japanese classes that I attend these
Right.
days, and I make content and I
Mhm.
just like making music and all of those things. So, any day, I think I would trade off money for just like
Mhm.
more sanity. So,
Right. But
yeah.
before we
Hmm.
go on to my question, I have another
Yeah.
thing to add.
Yeah.
So I think work-life balance, it shouldn't really be about like, how long your work hours are.
Yeah.
It should be more about how you utilize your
Yeah.
weekends.
Yeah.
Because weekends has to be those 2 days, don't sleep it off.
Yeah.
Wake up at 8 a.m. like you normally would
Yeah.
and go do something, learn a
Yeah.
new skill, go to a class,
Yeah.
create videos, explore new places, whatever makes you
Yeah.
happy, right?
Yeah.
5 days, you are literally selling your body, mind, and soul. 2 days, why are you sleeping it off?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the true work life balance really comes in there.
Yeah.
You work 18 hours, it's fine. But then are you able to put aside like 4 hours on your Saturday and Sunday just for yourself?
Yeah.
Don't rot in your bed or on your sofa. Like, get out, do something. I think that's where work life balance comes in for me.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I think, but the only difference for me is that I want to do it every day. I don't want to wait for the
Hmm.
weekend to get me time. So I want it
Fair.
consistently on a daily basis.
Got it.
But sure, thank you for that. So would you rather repeat term one or
Mhm.
relive the final placement season?
Hmm. Okay, it's so you're basically asking me to choose between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Yes.
Uh, I think I would rather relive term one again,
Okay.
because term one for me was very special,
Hmm.
because you dreamt of being at that place for so many months, so many years, and when you're finally there, and like you're standing in the middle of LKP. I have goosebumps talking about it. You're standing in the middle of LKP and you're meeting with all these amazing people who've done crazy things. Like, I remember the first time I met you, and the first thing you told me was that you'd written 3 books. And I was like, "What? 3 books? You're crazy. Where's this girl? Like, are you sure?" And then there was someone in our batch who had a startup, and someone who won the Commonwealth Games. So I think people at IMA, they get very overwhelming, but at the same time, I was very grateful for the opportunity
Yeah.
to be in the same room as these people. Right?
Mm.
You're in a room with like 80 other people who've done crazy stuff with their life,
Yeah.
and in the first month especially, you're high on adrenaline, you want to network as much as possible. So I really, really would want to experience it again. Yes, it was hectic, but I think it's part and parcel of the entire IMA experience, right? I don't think IMA would be IMA if it wasn't for that what would you say, hard coded curriculum, or the hectic schedule, surprise quizzes and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Pretty cool. I think I'd prefer the final placements.
Yeah?
Because the first term was so bad for me because it was just so hard for me to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it gets much better as time progresses. But yeah, I would any day take up the placements because you're getting placed anyway. But in the first term, I was not
Yes.
sure if I was going to pass. I was like, is this going to happen? Am I going to get through it? So yeah.
Do you think it gets better, or we just get used to it?
Either way, I think you
It's
learn how to
manageable.
survive. You
Mhm.
learn how to get through it. So
But even for final placements,
yeah.
do you not think there's a lot of anxiety surrounding it? What next after life? Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people, they want to get into, let's say, firm A, but
Yeah.
then their profile or their CV does not get them there. And they land up with, firm Z. Then do you not think there's a lot of anxiety over that, or the stress that's there, getting shortlist or not, what's going to happen to me next? Because I think in the beginning of IMA, there's still so much time after that. Anything can happen. You can change the course of your 2 years. But then final place is not the case, right? By the time it rolls around, what's done is already done.
Well, I think because I've worked before, I know what it's like to just be in the corporate space, and I know it's not fun. So I had nothing to lose,
I
honestly.
agree. I'm so close to going and asking my manager, when do summer vacations start?
Yeah, I miss summer vacations. I keep hoping, and I'm like, can I just get a month off, please? It's really hot outside. I don't want to step out. But sure. Okay, next question. In class, would you sit next to a topper who never misses a chance to do CP or sit in the well? So, for those who don't know, CP is class participation. So, people who just talk a lot for points. I was one of them. So, I should really not be making a comment on this.
These points are graded also, by the way.
A lot of times they're graded. In some courses, they're not.
Yeah.
And the well is basically, so we have like what do you call it?
U-shaped classroom.
Classroom, yeah. So the bottommost of it is called the well, and you're it's in very close proximity to the professor. So to reiterate the question, would you sit next to a topper who does CP or sit in the well?
Okay. Have you ever sat in the well?
No, I wanted to.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I would pray every single time before like we got our seating charts. And I would literally pray. I would be like, hopefully I don't get the bell. And thankfully I've never gotten it. Not even for a single course. So I think the gods really like me. uh, I would sit next to someone who does a lot of CP. Because one, if that person's always talking, there's a good chance that the professor won't call your name out because hello, how long can they look in your direction, right? But well, I mean, you can't sleep in the well. I think you have to attach one of my sleeping videos here. But I think I was in my first year, I used to sleep a lot in class. Not very proud of it, but yeah.
I was also a selective sleeper. So I would either sleep or do a lot of CP. So I was on either ends of the spectrum. Anyway, let's go to the next question, which is, would you miss an all-nighter party with your best friends or miss a pre-read in class where cold calls are inevitable?
This is a no-brainer. I would miss pre-reads.
Ooh.
Parties are like my favorite things that I am. I still remember this one party that we had very, very early on. We literally stayed up the entire night and we walked around the campus and we saw the sun come up. It was so beautiful, We were at one of the top floors and just seeing the sunrise over the beautiful campus and you could see LKP from one of our dorms. And it was just, there's that moment, where you're like, oh my god, shit, I really make it here. Every party's, it's crazy, something crazy keeps happening. And the next morning we were like, what, fuck, we should stop this.
I wouldn't know. I never attended a single party, so. But I did see a lot of sunrises because I'd wake up with the sun.
Oh, okay. As long as we're seeing sunrises, then it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So, would you be forced to take up a 1 credit course that you hate because you didn't win the bid? So, okay, let me just give some context. So, we have a bidding system in the second year where you bid for courses, and a lot of times, if the bid goes too high, you kind of lose out on getting the course. So, in that context, would you be forced to take up a 1 credit course because you didn't win the bid, or take a surprise quiz unprepared?
I think I've done both of these.
Which one would you prefer?
I mean, just thinking of like how it was. A surprise quiz seemed like such a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, surprise quizzes, do you ever take a surprise quiz like prepared?
I tried, but it didn't work.
So what's the point? I mean, either way, you're going to get shit grades, so like, might as well do that, right?
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think? What would you do?
I think I would rather take a surprise quiz unprepared because I think it's very hard to it's a 1 day thing if it's a surprise quiz, but if it is a course, a 1 credit course, chances are I'll have to live through it for the next 3 months, and I don't have the bandwidth.
Have you taken any course like that?
Yes, I don't want to name it.
I have taken one such course as well, which I think was a stupid decision thinking back. But yeah, it was. I can't even tell you what happened on the course because everyone knows which course it was.
Okay, let's leave it at that then. Would you take an elective you hate with friends, or would you be the only one in a course that you love? Not alone, but not have your friends around.
Again, I think I've been in both these situations. There are courses that I've taken purely for the love of it, and there are some courses that I take because all my friends were there, right? I think it's important to strike that balance. I'm going to talk like a pure, MBA grabbing consultant here. It depends.
It depends.
It depends. Yes. I think this really depends on the kind of course. If it's a chill course, and of course, I would love to do it with my friends, right? We're making jokes, we're doing assignments together, we're doing polish together, it's fun. But there were some courses that I really, really took because I wanted to. There was this course called, I think you were there too, IMCM.
Oh, it was so good. I loved that course.
Yes. Did you take NFS as well?
No.
Yeah, NFS was a really fantastic course. We spoke a lot about advertising.
Okay.
We deep dived into, strategies used by advertisers and how the advertising industry has shifted. So yeah, course like that, I was the only one. I had none of my friends there. So yeah.
Yeah. That makes it's a good
and
choice.
plus, I would definitely take course without my friends because you're there at IMA for learning, right?
Exactly.
So for me in the second year was making most utilization of learning, basically getting these professors. I mean, when you think about our professors, they're literally royalty in the education space, right? You don't even realize.
Yeah.
You go talk to like a student who's like doing a PhD in their field, they would literally keep going on and on for hours about this particular professor.
Yeah.
And you won't even realize that they're literally legends in what they do. And you get face to face time with them every single day.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I would pick a course without my friends. For
Yeah.
pure joy of learning. What about you?
Same. I think professors, especially slight digression, but I think the professors are so good. I just want to talk about this one incident, which is not really related to the questions, but so I was abroad on my birthday last year, and one of the professors who taught us, he knew that it was my birthday. So what he did is he called his cousin who lived in the same country that I was in,
Okay.
and he got her to send me a cake.
Oh, wow.
He sent it to my address over there, which is the sweetest thing anyone's done for me. And even when I think of it now, I get so emotional. But
oh my god, that's so sweet.
yeah, so they're not just professors; they're like family. They're literally family for you. So I think I'm very fortunate in that regard. So any day, I would prefer a course over friends because you can meet friends outside of class as well. But just having this sort of a rapport with professors is so precious.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Okay. Would you miss chaos or would you miss tea night? And you can give some context to the viewers as well.
Yeah. So tea night is like this intersection cultural event we have where we do a bunch of things like dance, drama, singing, something called AdZap. I don't know.
I don't even know what that is.
Same. I don't know.
Okay.
And then Chaos is like one of India's largest cultural festival. People from other campuses come and they take part in, again, cultural activities, dance, drama, dance. It's on a much bigger scale. But tea night is just more like an inter-college section event. I think for me, I would rather miss Chaos than tea night because tea night, it's a very defining moment in an IMBA journey where you get to actually know your classmates. Because until that time, you would just be hearing their voices in doing CP or this, very few limited interaction outside class. But then during tea night, everyone's up, no one sleeps. You're practicing with dance from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. and then you go to drama, practice for another half an hour. Yeah. In the middle of all of this, surprise quizzes come up. So I think tea night, it's very, very important.
Yeah.
And again, it's pretty stupid when you think about it. But, there's that competitive spirit amongst, again, we also compete with PGPX. So there's this, the entire battle between, is it going to PGP? Any PGP section was the X, PGPX, Executive MBA, basically. So I think it's really fun. I would not miss tea night for sure.
Yeah.
What about you?
Same here. I think I love tea night. And I think tea night's where the real chaos is. But because it's utter madness, like you said, right? There are quizzes to deal with and then everyone's practicing and all of it. I think with chaos, it's more, you're a passive viewer. With tea night, you're actively involved in it. So it's just so much more fun.
And also there's a lot of, during tea night, the slogans that the sections keep telling each other to bring them down.
The meme wars.
Oh yes, the meme wars. I used to look forward to it every single day, especially the batch WhatsApp who's be like buzzing with
them. Yeah. Especially, I think we were pretty nasty to the PGPX guys.
Yeah.
Then I think of it. But anyway, last question is: would you sit in a boring course where laptops are not allowed, or be in a study group where everyone's a nerd?
Boring course where laptops are not allowed. So I just have to listen to the professor go on and on for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Or be in a study group where everyone's a nerd. I think I would be in a study group where everyone's a nerd.
Okay. And if I switch the question up and I said where everyone's a freeloader, how would you answer it?
Then maybe not. Because I would, not like to do much. But, again, work-life balance, right? I mean, how much am I going to work? When everyone's a nerd, I feel like it's important. I would say nerd. Let me rephrase this.
Yeah.
Smart. Willing to push themselves.
Okay.
Right? I think that really rubs off on you as well. So as a person, I'm very lazy. So when everyone around me is working, I also be like, okay, I have to work as well. I mean, it's unfair to them if I'm not working.
Yeah.
So I think it would give me that little bit of push, not because I want to freeload, but that push is required for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I would be, study group full of smart people.
True. I think I'd make the same choice, honestly, but I think it's a very difficult question for me because I wouldn't want to be in a boring class without my laptop. I would fall asleep, and I've done that so many times, and it's frankly very disrespectful for the person teaching, but you can't help it. Sometimes some classes are so boring.
Yeah, man. I think it gets even more boring when you've not, read pre-reads for 3 classes in a row. You have no idea what's going on, and you're just sitting there and shit, how did I end up here?
Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Keertana. Thank you for being here and thank you for watching. And please check out Keertana's channel. She makes amazing content. And I'll see you again.
Thank you
Okay.
for having me.